What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today's project is I'm installing a power steering cooler. This is a dual pass cooler. If you guys watch the Mallrunner's channel, the brake hardware for the Ebrake, one of the hardware broke, so I'll be doing that. And then here is that's the Rago factory rail awning mount. So this is my awning. That is a 8-foot awning, and when I gave Alex the awning, I gave him my mount. So yeah, that's why I don't have an awning right now. And here shortly the weather's warming up, so we're gonna be doing a lot of camping out in the open, so having shade with the awning is gonna be it's gonna be nice. But yeah, so the power steering cooler, the plan is to mount it right here, and then build a bracket right here to hold this piece. I did have to push the AC line back just a little bit to, you know, help clear, otherwise it would be like Hawkeye like this. So that's the plans to mount the power steering cooler. For most people, you don't need a power steering cooler. The factory one is just a line, just a metal line that runs across the front. But for me, because I'm on 35s, and here in Colorado, there's a lot of rocks. So when you're fighting the power steering on rocks and stuff, you'll heat up the power steering fluid. So I needed to get this done for a good while now, but just never got around to it. But yeah, I mean, during the season, I'll have to change my power steering fluid about once. I won't say like once a month, because it starts to turn pretty dark. Like this one right here is already pretty dark. Like that. But yeah, once a month, because you know I'm turning big tires on big rocks, so that tends to heat up the fluid. And like when it overheats, it starts to puke out of the cap, and then it gets fluid all over here. So yeah, I'm gonna fix that today. All right, so the original plan was to put it down low, the cooler, like down there, and just cut a vent hole or a hole down there so that the cooler will get air when I'm driving. But I don't know, I feel like that's just actual work, and especially, you know, if I ever drop the skid plate to do something, well, then the power steering cooler is going to be in a way, so I don't want to move that too. Therefore, I'm just going to put it up here. The plan is, this is the return line from the rack pinion, and then that's the feed line to the power steering pump. So the return line, before it goes into this reservoir, I'm going to take this hose off, put it on here, and then run another hose from here to where this is at. So the cooler is going to cool it before it goes to the reservoir, and then the reservoir feeds the pump. Yeah, that's how I'm gonna do it. That's the easiest way to do it. Less complicated, and really the only thing you gotta do is, you know, make a little mount, a little bracket, and yeah, let's get to it. I do want this side to be slightly higher than this side, so the air and stuff can bleed out. Yep, so this is how the cooler is going to stay. It's pretty sturdy. I can shake the whole car with it. So, yeah, it's turning out pretty good so far. I just got to run the hose now. Okay, so the power steering cooler is finally done. I added a couple of sleeves to the hose right down there and right here. That's just to protect the hose from rubbing. Could zip tie it in place, but when we're off-roading, I mean it's always shaking and moving around. So I decided to put a sleeve on there. It's just a heater hose that I cut in half, so I can just slide it over. And then right there too. Yeah, so it's all done. Already bled it, and dude, I already bled it. So I'll show you guys something here. I only ran the car for like probably like a minute just to make sure I bled all the power steering fluid. But this cooler is already pretty warm. It's currently 73 degrees, and I just idling. So it's pretty cool today. Right here is 67. I mean, it's probably like right around 60 degrees here in the shop. So yeah, just idling. It already warmed up just from the pump, pumping pressurizing the power steering fluid. So I do recommend getting it cooler, especially if you got skid plates and stuff like that that covers the factory line. But the factory line is literally it's just one solid, well, just one steel line, and that's how it cools the power steering fluid. That's just not enough. Not if you're running bigger tires. So all right, so I'll move on to the next. I'm gonna do the Ebrake hardware kit. So let's get on to that. All right, so to do the Ebrake, obviously you just take your wheel off, and then for me, I'm just going to take the whole caliper off as an assembly. There's no sense of wasting time taking the caliper and then taking the bracket off. Just do it, both together. So it should be just a 17 mil in the back. Just like that, and then you should be able to just pull the whole caliper and bracket off. And mines always stick a little bit because of all the mud and stuff that I collect. But there's two holes that you just put I want to say these are probably 8 millimeters, probably like 8 by 1.25 threads. You just put the bolts in and it'll push the rotor off. Yeah, so the parking brake shoes normally sit in here. Like I said, mine was dragging and digging into the axle, so I took it off. And you guys can see here, shiny right here, because the hardware was rubbing on the axle. Alright, so the reason why the hardware broke is technically it didn't break. It kept popping out from this slot. That's what holds these the brake shoes down. The reason why it keeps popping off was because the adjustment was too loose. So when I set my e-brake, it stretched it too far and then pops the hardware off. So when it popped it off, the axle ate it up. So I'm gonna have to install new ones. I'm not replacing the shoes. I'm just replacing the hardware because the shoe has so nice and thick. And these are just for, you know, your emergency brake or for your e-brake. And you don't typically wear these down unless you drove the vehicle with the e-brake on. So mine's still nice and thick, so it's no reason to replace it. This is my first time doing it on the 4Runners, but you know, I've done drum brakes so many times that I mean, it's no big deal. It only goes in one way, so you can't really get it wrong per se. So let's get to it. Alright, so the Toyota's parking brake shoes are one of the hardest. The reason is because it's really tight. But the axle itself has this little cutout from the, I don't know what you call this shield, on the axle. So you just want to make sure the cutout is facing on the shoe that you're working on. Easiest way is to do one side at a time. So I'm doing the side that has the e-brake lever on it. So how the hardware goes together is that the bent weird looking one goes to the shoe with the lever. This piece goes on first because it has the hook. The hook grabs to right here, this little hole right here, so it sits like so. So yeah, so the special one goes on first, and then you got the spring, and then from the spring you got the locker right here. I don't know what you call this piece, whatever, but it only goes in one way because it's slotted. Goes in there, and then you twist it and it locks, and that's how that works. So first thing you want to do, you don't have to put the shoe on yet. Put this on, put the first piece on, put the spring on, and then you put the locking tab on. Oh, I got it upside down. Yep, and twist it, and then it locks in place. But there's no tension, so it's not really locking per se, but that's how it should be on it. Oh, yep, just like that, and then you put your e-brake shoe on. This is when using a needle nose plier or something is helpful. I don't know what's going on outside. It's like a bunch of bikers driving by. So I apologize if there's a bunch of noise in the GoPro, in the audio. Yeah, so these Toyotas are kind of tricky. There's plenty of drum brakes specialty tools out there, but they don't They don't work on these, on the Toyotas, because it's too tight. All right, let's try this. I'm gonna use a pick. Go through this hole right here. I apologize if I hit the camera and you guys are shaking. Oh my god, almost had it and it popped off. If you've done these before, if you have a know of a trick, drop it down below in a comment, and help out the other guys that this is their first time doing it. Like I said, this is my first time doing this on the 4runner. I've done it before on like a Tundra or Sequoia. But I mean, they're really similar. It should be exactly the same thing, because they use the same rear axle and stuff. Alright, so got that in place. I just got to work the locking tab over into the hole. Here we go. So this side's on. From here, I'm gonna put the springs on to lock this shoe in place. All right, so got the top spring on. The next one is gonna be the smaller spring. That one goes in the bottom, at the bottom, and this spring just goes, it looks like just like this. Might be on the back side actually. Yeah, this spring goes on the back side, because this is what keeps the adjuster from free spinning. Alright, so it would be easier if I put it on first, but it's fine. I can still work it in. But yeah, it just goes back there to hook it. On the front, there's one similar to it right here. So you just put the spring to hook that. So for this, this side of the shoe is going to use a straight one. Seems similar, the hardware with the hook. that goes like this, the spring, and then the locky tab thingamajig. So this is the pre-tensioner or the adjuster. I don't recall which way. I don't think it matters, because this piece is the one that screws in and out, and this piece is just loose. I don't think it matters, so I'm just gonna do it like this. But first, we want to start with the shoe, and looks like, let's see, looks like it goes like this, because the tabs here are in the back. Just like that, and then put the adjuster on. So same thing, you want to rotate the axle, so this piece allows you to access the hardware. All right, so before I put the locking hardware onto the shoes, you want to put this piece on. The part with the spring goes to the side of the shoe that has the lever, e-brake lever. Nope, so I was wrong. It's the opposite. This piece goes to the side with the e-brake lever, and the spring part goes to the opposite shoe. Just like that. Just kind of lay it there so it doesn't fall off. All right, so it's locked in place. And now I gotta work the this other piece on. course, everything's harder when you're freaking filming it. I got camera in the way. All right, there you go. I got the left spring on. That's it. I mean, that's all to it. It's pretty simple. Just having a camera right in front of me is hard to do it. I try not to knock you guys over and at the same time trying to pull all the springs in place. But yeah, the adjuster's down here. That's how you tie in, and you tie in or you loosen the drum. But let's put it back together. Well, that was it for today. So the Rago awning mount is not going to work on for me because I have a rooftop tent, and is the way it's designed, it sucks the awning really close to the rack, and that's going to interfere with the tent. I mean, I could have just scoot the tent over a little bit, but that'll make the tent, being off center. So decided not to use it, and end up making a bracket myself. And yeah, so the awning's on now. And the Rago mount will pull it way too close, and it's just not gonna work. And I had a little bit of time. I finally got the high lift jack I guess installed or mounted. I didn't want to go the route of putting on my tire carrier. That's the way everybody does it, and with the 35 up there, it's already pretty heavy. And yeah, so 35 up there is heavy. When I carry 5-gallon jug of fuel, that's heavy. And also the table, if we're out somewhere, and I use the table too. That's just, I feel like that's just too much weight on the tire carrier with it being open. So decided not to do that. I ended up putting under the 4runner, and this is how it looks, just like that. So this corner right here, oh, where's my hand? There we go. Is bolted up to the factory tow hitch. That was one of the mounting bolt. When I did the rear bumper, I flipped the hitch. It's on top of the frame now. Before it was under the frame. I did that because I'll gain like 6 inches of ground clearance. So yeah, I used one the factory mounting hole there. And then for this side, is wedged up there pretty good between the frame and the body. It's mainly sitting on the frame, but it's wedged a little bit. There's not much movement, so I ended up just using a ratchet strap to hold it still so it doesn't, you know, slide back and forth when I hit bumps and stuff. I was thinking about using like a way to mount it and clamp it to the frame, but I didn't want it to be too complicated to where if I do need it, then I'll be scrambling around trying to find the right socket and stuff like that to drop the high lift. So it's just, as of right now, just one 14mm, and then undo the ratchet, and then the high lift will drop out. But yeah, because if I were to try and bolt it to the frame, I was thinking about using like a U-bolt or something for like a leaf spring, but those typically use really big nuts, and then trying to make sure I have, I don't know, like a 21mm or something. I don't know. I just didn't want to go that way. Like I said, it's wedged up there anyway, so just using a ratchet strap for one end, I think it's more than efficient. So yeah, that's where we're at. And me and Evie are pretty much done for today. Tiffany's, her ex-co-workers are planning to go somewhere. I forgot the name of the place, but that's where we're going. Right after this. It's already 3. I started at like 10. It's already 3 o'clock, so I'm running out of time. We have to leave around, I think it was like 5 to go meet her friends up. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys again next time.